Good morning. Right, today I'm going to be talking about something that you've probably read a lot about lately and in general, which is progressive overload. So, progressive overload is an important part for any training program that you're going to make for yourself or use in the future. However, I think a lot of the time it is misunderstood by both people doing programs but also people creating programs. I think it's misunderstood by a lot of PTs. So let's talk a little bit about it and where that statement is coming from. I'll probably find that a lot of PTs are really going to disagree with that statement, but hear me out, I'm going to explain it. So the idea behind progressive overload is that your training program should be consistently getting harder. Now the idea is you can't get stronger and better unless you are consistently pushing yourself with your training program to get better and harder. So your training program should always be getting harder and more difficult each time. And the idea is the notion behind progressive overload is each workout should be harder than the previous one. So you should be doing more weight, you should be doing more reps, you should be doing it with better form, something like that. Each time you do your workout, it should be a little bit harder. Now where it falls down, or I think it falls down, is that it doesn't take something into account. Now let me give you an example. Let's take someone doing a deadlift for the first time ever. Let's say for the sake of argument that they're 18 years old and they're going into the gym to do their first ever deadlift. So they're a nice sensible person, so they take a 20 kilogram bar and they do their first set of 5 sets of 5 of deadlift. That's just 5 reps for 5 sets sort of thing, 20 kilogram. Let's say for the sake of argument that the next time they come in the gym, they add 2.5 kilo to that bar, something that they're working out twice a week. So they come back a second time in that week and they do another 5 sets of 5s, and this time they do 22.5 kilos and they lift that 5 sets of 5. And this continues, so then the next time they come into the gym, they do 25 kilos for 5 sets of 5. They're having their progressive overload, it's getting heavier each time, so now in their second week they're now doing 25 kilo. So why do I think this then falls down? Now, let's say this person carries on 52 weeks of the year, let's say they're very committed, they carry on working 52 weeks of the year. That means that they should have, by the end of the year, added 260 kilo onto their deadlift. Their deadlift should be 260 kilo heavier. Now, if we then extrapolate that to 2 years down the line, they should be lifting 520 kilo. Now, I don't know how many people know this, the current world record deadlift is 501 kilo. So why is every lifter in the gym not breaking the record in 2 years, in 2 years' time? If you've been training for more than 2 years, why haven't you got a deadlift world record? And the simple answer is, or at least for me, the idea of progressive overload does not take into the account the fact that we are squishy humans. We have flaws, we have problems, we have injuries, we have missed sessions, we have something. Sometimes we are just not at our best. In fact, I'd go as far to say as most of the time, we are not at our best. What a lot of people don't take into account is how the stresses outside of your gym life affect your training. If you had a bad night's sleep, maybe you had a bad day at work, maybe you're fighting off an infection of some kind. I hear there's one of those going around at the moment. You might have had a crappy meal, you might have, all these things contribute to your quality of your gym work the next day. Now, you might say, I'm splitting hairs here, but my problem is you see all these people online talking about progressive overload and your workout should always be heavier and always harder and blah, 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 blah. And all I think it does is it puts an unfair stress on normal people who are just trying to get in the gym and just get a little bit fitter, and then suddenly they feel worse because some jumped up PT on the internet is telling them that, oh, your training program is shit because you're not including progressive overload and blah, 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 blah. Right, progressive overload is important. However, it is not the be all and end all of your training. As long as you are going into the gym and you are trying your best and working hard, you will see results. Now, yes, it does need to get harder. It is not gospel, it doesn't matter sort of thing. Like, if you're happy where you are and you're training well and you're seeing results, then all good. If you are struggling, come and see a PT, but if they start criticising you for not always doing progressive overload, then just don't worry about it. Sorry, went off on a bit of a tangent there. Right, progressive overload, like I say. What we want to do, we want to make sure that our training programs are getting harder. We want to make sure we are trying a little bit harder, but the training programs aren't getting harder. We are getting better, so that training program is no longer a challenge for us. So we have to make the training program harder so that it is a challenge for us. You should always be challenging your muscle. Here's where my opinion differs somewhat. So I personally think you should be going in and doing your best. Now, your best varies from day to day. Sometimes your best is going in and operating at peak capacity. You've increased all your lifts and everything like that. And sometimes when you're having a really rough week, sometimes your best is just laying on the sofa eating ice cream. That's fine. That is what your body needs right now. As long as you are being consistent with your training, not giving up, continue doing it. Don't sit there and go, oh, it got hard, so I stopped. That's fine. We all fall off the wagon sometimes. Just get back up, get on that horse and get on that horse. You know, when you get back on the horse. And continue going. Get back in the gym and keep trying. You only fail when you give up. You don't fail when you fail. You know what I mean? So I definitely went off on a bit of a tangent there and it's all got a bit weird. So let me summarize this quite quickly now by saying, how do I do progressive overload? Just always try and make your workouts slightly harder than they were before, but don't fret it if you lifted a weight one week and you can't lift it the next time, because that's fine. Don't worry about it. Your body just hasn't fully recovered, or maybe you're just feeling a bit run down or something like that. Don't worry, just keep trying, keep pushing, and you'll get there. Cool, I think that's everything for today. Hope you enjoyed that, hope it made sense. It did get a bit of a wild rant on my part, but hope you all enjoyed it and see you in the next video.